Hi, my name is Michael Trout, and I want to talk about saving our planet and what you can do to help save it. You see, we've known for quite some time, since 1972, when a book called Limits to Growth, which was research done on supercomputers, that tracked basically the exponential growth of our resource and life and usage, and how ultimately what it predicted, things are going to crash. Because you see, we can't have exponential growth on a finite planet. It's that simple. And we have a business model that is built on something called compounded annual growth rate. Compounded annual growth rate is exponential growth. So if we have a business model built on compounded annual growth rate for a finite planet, then you can probably figure out the problem. So how do we fix the problem? Because governments, leaders, our politicians, our nonprofits, our NGOs have had over 60 years to fix the problems, and things have just gotten worse, and it's time for us to do something about it. So I've developed a solution to do just that. One of the things we have to worry about is food security. Where is our next meal going to come from? Now let's talk about food security. Food security is one of the big drivers that are creating our problem. We ship basically thousands of tons worth of food around the world. And ultimately we have created something called the industrial agricultural complex. And this system is overburdened. So how do we fix this? It's really simple. It's by launching your own farms or gardens that grow food. Everything in this garden here is edible for the most part. There's some trees growing up, apple trees. This garden is going to turn into a garden that's going to produce fruits, and it already has produced vegetables. All of these are herbs. This is shisal. You can see there's a melon there. There's a lot of all that sweet basil. By growing our own food means collecting our own seeds. So this is sweet basil hanging up here. This is enough spinach seeds to feed probably my entire village. There's probably thousands of seeds that are ready to be sown and thrown out into the garden. You see, I'm no longer a burden on the local grocery store and buying vegetables. I produce my own vegetables. And it is possible for pretty much everyone in the world to produce all the food that they need locally. So found-ups are ideas like a vegetable garden, like a farm, like a permaculture homestead that level up into potentially businesses. They start off focused on removing yourself from the overworked, overburdened grid. And we reach out to the community of individuals all over the world to join us. And I've set up a method for us to work together to achieve it. Imagine if together we would help one another launch Found-Ups and give as little as $1 to make it happen. So what I thought of is, why not take 80% of the funds that I raise and share it with everyone who does and launch Found-Ups like the one I just shared with you. A Found-Up can also be a book, it could be renewable energy, it could be sustainable housing, it could be anything as long as it helps our planet. It's a Found-Up. Now, what I'm doing is providing a mechanism. So, for example, my garden is covered by my patrons. It's free. So this garden doesn't cost me anything, and it's producing food, and it's producing content. So let me show you some of the stuff that I have. I make my own yogurt and this is my herb yogurt. I have my own label, and this is an open product, so you can actually use this product. You can use the website, and eventually I hope to turn Herb Sweetener into a product, into a brand as big as Coca-Cola. This here is my super amazing herb sweetener. This is made from shiso and all a bunch of herbs that I cook into a really rich tea, slow cook over a day, and then I saturate it with GMO free sugar until the point where you can actually see the crystals in here, right? You can see the sugar crystals kind of coming out of the water. If I move it around, you can see the crystals in there, right? Look at that, those are crystals, those are sugar crystals floating in the water. And this water actually comes from the mountains, the Japanese mountains, from a spring that some local showed me, and I go there and I collect the water, and all my products that I use, my kids drink. I don't drink tap water, we drink this mountain water. So here's some other products. So here's my mountain herb water with actual my herbs, and these are all tomato sauce, all different. I've got more. I grew a lot of tomatoes. You can see all the tomato sauce and some more bottles of water for my kids that I grew this year. Look at all this sauce. This is my English room, and I have my customers right now. I don't have a shop or anything else, but I sell my products to the parents of my students. And what they do is they purchase kind of found up dollars, and I'll show you my found up dollars. And this is my simple coupon, right? Able to sign up, they can go online, and it also acts as a business card, but this is a coupon right here. And they use my coupon in order to purchase. So each of these is worth $5. So if they want yogurt, they give me one of these, and I give them a yogurt. If they want water, they get 2 waters for one of these. So I exchange this for their Japanese yen. Now what you're thinking, how does Found Ups, how does this save our planet? Well, it's simple. You have to think of our planet as a termite mound. A termite mound. And you have to think of everyone on the planet as a termite. And we have a rotten termite mound. It is falling apart. It's basically collapsing. It's not working. What we need to do is to encourage our fellow termites to basically start a new termite mound. And that is via doing Found Ups. Now you may already be doing Found Ups. You may say, you know what, Mike, I'm already doing this. Well, great. That means you're already ahead of the game. So what we need to do is to encourage folks that aren't doing this, and I wasn't doing it a year ago, to start doing it by saying, launch a Found Up. A Found Up is a ubiquitous term to mean anything that's good for our planet. And here's the deal. My Found Up right now is leveling up. You start off with just a garden. Now I have products. I have a brand. You can see where I'm going with this. Potentially, you know, I may be able to get a store and a shop, and I may have people wanting to buy my products. I don't know. But I do know this. Without capital to grow this business, I won't be able to. Without having some form of fuel, how do we get the fuel? Well, I've developed a system which is very simple. Through Patreon, which has a never-ending crowdfunding solution, that's right, it's never-ending, we can support each other's Found Ups for as little as $1. And ultimately, in supporting these Found Ups, we get patrons, and as we get patrons, we get more patrons, and as we get more patrons, our fund grows. What if we did this? What if anyone who did a Found Up, we would send them no bars, no money for them doing it. So free money for doing Found Ups. Now there's been lots of research done that shows that free money does not create loafs, it doesn't create lazy people, it creates active people, it creates caring people, it creates people who now are empowered to duplicate and copy the system. So I have a document here that you can click in the description that I'd like you to read that explains the system how I see it. And I want to encourage you to support becoming a FoundUp, to launch your own FoundUps. I have a manual on how to set up your Patreon page as a FoundUp. It's a little different than setting up as normal. And ultimately, we will launch foundups.com, a FoundUp, to found up something, to found up an idea, to found up a business. Now, it's important that you understand that FoundUps, if they become corporations, if they level up and they become an entity, they become something known as open corporations. Now, open corporations are very, very important. They're very important because of this. Open corporations, under their articles of incorporation, state they are not a living entity. They are not an entity in the sense that they are allowed to vote for politics, that they're allowed to lobbying. In fact, open corporations are mandated and prohibited to exclude themselves from any lobbying activity. Open corporations cannot support, invest in any way in any sort of political campaign. You see, the problem we're losing our liberty and inequality, the problem why we've lost our government, it's been hijacked by closed corporations. The corporations we have now are closed. And what I want to do is create a means for us collectively, decentralized, as a peer-to-peer fashion, for us to launch thousands of FoundUps. Some of these FoundUps are going to level up and become open corporations. And in doing so, we can show people how the world should be. And we can encourage something to come about called the empathic civilization. My thinking is this: as long as we have selfish, closed startups that are centralized for the few, of the few, for their benefit, we will never have an empathic civilization. What we need for an empathic civilization is two things. One is we need a new business model, that is the FoundUp, a new business paradigm that launches selfless ideas, that encourages people to act in a selfless manner. By you contributing that $1 to foundups.com to help me launch FoundUps, that is selfless. And ultimately, in doing so, you're helping me and helping others launch their FoundUps. As we allow them and we help them launch their FoundUps, they're going to help others do theirs. So it's kind of like a never-ending mentoring chain of people following people, being the change they want to see in the world. This ushers in something called the collaborative commons. That another thing that Jeremy Rifkin talks about, that the good that we can do from the many can overcome and be better than the few that can be done, than the good that can be done by the few. What this means is this: is they've recently proved that collectively having solar panels on all the roofs can produce more energy than having centralized solar farms. And it's a new business paradigm that you can learn about by watching this video that Jeremy Rifkin talks about. I appreciate the time that you watch this. I hope that you'll click here and click above and become a patron of foundups.com. You get shares in our open corporation. You get we will give you FoundUp dollars that you'll be able to use on our app and other things. We're trying to usher in a bold new paradigm, one that I hope is going to save our planet. But you know what? I can't do it without you.